can I ask you what your dog voice is? So I'm Lola, and I'm like walking over, and I'm like, hey, Mom.
Okay, it's hi, big girl. Hi, big girl. Are you my Lola? Lola. It's my big girl. Today is gonna be a great day. We get another day. We get another day with each other. Yes. Is that an eye booger? I'm going in for your ears.
Hi, I'm Maggie Lawson, and welcome to Unconditional. Every week, we explore the extraordinary bond between people and their pets. This isn't just another pet podcast. This is about the extraordinary lengths we go to for our furry family, the moments of connection, and the way they transform us. So whether you're a dog person, a cat person, or just someone who could use a little extra joy and connection in your day, Unconditional is the podcast that celebrates the deep, life-changing love we share with our pets. First off, it's so good to see you.
I know, it's so good to see you.
And I miss you. I know. I don't remember. I think the last time I saw you, I actually think was the night I mentioned to you about, we were, I think, at the Soho House and had some drinks and ended up in, I remember I was talking about my dog who had passed away, and I ended up in tears. And then you started talking about a dog you had that passed away, and you ended up in tears, and we just were sitting at the table crying. Yeah. It was great. Anyway, so I was thinking about that night, and I was thinking about, I thought about you anyway. I mean, I miss you. I follow you. I'm so happy for all that's happening for you. Your special was so good. And
thank you.
Loved it. It was so funny. And anything, by the way, at the end of this, you want to like promote or say, we can do. But Today we're talking about pets.
I love it.
Where are you right now?
So I'm in Brooklyn.
Okay.
I'm in Brooklyn right now. And I just moved back to Brooklyn. I was in the Bronx and now I'm in Brooklyn and I love it. I think since I can speak freely, I will speak freely. Since I still am allowed to. Oh, hell no.
Answer it.
No, can I tell you? I am on my husband's computer, and that's my mom calling him. Too much.
Did your mom like call your husband a lot?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute. That's nice.
Is it?
I don't know. Is it? It seems nice.
Oh my God, being the only child is wild. Oh my gosh. Oh my God, so many things. So like even having a dog, I wasn't even allowed to have a dog because my dad was super allergic. My dad would make jokes that he was like allergic to dogs and also like hairy women, and that's why we never went to Greece. I'm like, Dad, you can't say that. You can get Asian Archie Bunker. But even when I got my first dog, inherited her.
Wait, you inherited a dog?
Yeah, my first dog, I inherited her because I used to walk dogs in LA for money.
What?
Yes, I was living in downtown LA. I was walking dogs for money for my acting classes. LOL. And I fell in love with this little pug chihuahua. She fell in love with me. She chose me. And her owner was a professor and was like never home. And we kind of like looked alike. And so
Wait,
Roxy
and
the owner.
The owner. Okay, got it.
Yeah. Well, like also the dog, let's be honest.
We do that. We all do that. I mean?
Just like
Titus and I actually like,
Yes. Accuracy. Okay. Like, yeah, Roxy was like thick and black and graying. I'm like, yes, accuracy. Yeah. So I kept her a secret for a couple of years when I actually inherited her because my mom was like, your dad will find this so offensive that you got him a dog and he'll never be able to come to your house, and just completely made this whole. She is very Caribbean and very Catholic. And I was like, I guess I feel guilty for taking care of these 14 pounds of like love. I was like, what? Yeah, like everything is always, but now they have a dog and a hypoallergenic little something something. And I'm like,
oh my God.
It's the best. What are you even talking about?
Well, they know now. Wait, so how did you, were like, I need to make some money for acting class. I know, I'll walk dogs. Was that sort of your way of like having dogs in your life without actually being able to have dogs in your life?
100%. It's like, it's like the auntie that wants to have kids, but not sure. And then like
Yeah.
babysits your kid. You know what I mean? It's like, I'll give it back just to see what it's like. Yes, 100%.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
I
So,
want to be a dog person. I get
yeah.
very anxious at dog parks because I don't know how to like dogs having fun are also like kids having fun. It sounds like everyone is killing each other, but you're like, they're fine.
It's so
Little blood. And I'm like, what?
dog parks kind of scare me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Like they're fun, but like I'm with you. I'm always a little like on edge. Yeah, we also don't know like what they're saying, or like what they're like.
Their language, but I don't want to put my hand in there. I don't want to put my foot in there, like emotionally or physically. And I'm like,
Yeah.
here, like I don't know. I was also that kid where I'm not going to climb a tree because my mom's like, if you don't know how to get down a tree, don't climb up it. And I was like, fair enough. And I've never climbed a tree, and so sometimes I sound like that like overly anxious mom at the dog park. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I do that. I'm the one too. I'm like minus. I do that a lot.
Yeah.
All right. So wait. So Roxy, did you say?
Yeah, Roxy.
Roxy was someone else's dog. Like the owner couldn't keep Roxy anymore. Or
Well,
what was the
no.
okay. Oh, okay.
She'll never hear this.
No.
She went to somewhere in West Africa. I don't remember the country to like to sort of like get over her breakup. She ended up falling in love with her tour guide that week. It was like very 90 Day Fiance. And
Oh my God.
ended up marrying him like at that time, like in that week. And I was like, wow, people are like really living it loud. And so then I watched Roxy, when she went on this trip, but then she had to keep going back to like do the K1 visa thing or whatever. I don't work for INS. How would I know?
Whatever it is. Yes.
And then she was just like gone a summer. And then I had Roxy for like a whole season. And then she just kept leaving for like 6 weeks, 8 weeks at a time. And I was like, hey, I'm moving back to New York. And it feels like Roxy wants to come with us because like she truly chose us. She would like run down the hall or in the lobby when she saw us. And I even didn't want to, my mom like put so much fear into me. Like I didn't want to tell my husband, like, I gotta love this dog. So because she was gone all day. And I'm like, when you're home, I'll bring her back. I just didn't want to like leave her for a walk, leave her home all day by herself and just take her for a walk. So I was like, she can just hang with me. And she was like such the perfect like LA dog because she just like sits on your lap at a coffee shop and like has fun and just loves when people pets her and like was like kind of a bitch to other dogs, but not in a way where it was like unmanageable.
Yeah. She was like, I'm not a dog. I don't know why I'm around these other dogs.
Yes, anyway. Bitches. Yeah. And so we took Roxy to New York with us. And we got her like a shearling coat and she looked like the IKEA monkey. And it was like,
you went all in. You were like all in dog mama, like outfits and all.
Sweaters. We had a photo shoot. My husband found a tux on Amazon. We both wore tuxes. Yeah. Like I am out here. I am still out here. Christmas sweaters back up.
Love.
The Dutch would play. There was an orange soccer jersey. Of course there was.
Oh my God.
She's our child. And she really was our first child. And I remember actually having a conversation with my husband where I was like, you don't kiss me the way you kiss Roxy. And I was like legit jealous. And I was like, do you need to check yourself? And I was like, no, my feelings are valid. Kiss me like you kiss her. And
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. We even lost like friendships over Roxy because there was a time where a friend's dog attacked her at a dinner party. She needed emergency surgery. Yeah, we like ran to the car with no shoes on. That's how like crazy it was.
What kind of a dog? Wow, what? Oh my
Strat-
God.
Stratfordshire Terrier.
Okay.
So her jaw was locked on Roxy's neck, and then the
Oh,
owner had to put his finger up her butt.
yeah.
And one of my besties, her wife is a vet. She performed the surgery, so we knew that like we could go into this knowing that shit. So we almost lost her, but we didn't. And we
You lost
asked,
those friends.
we did. We asked them to pay for the surgery, and I think they like ended up giving us like less than half. But it wasn't even like about that. It was just it was like a real like victim blamey what was she wearing kind of situation. You know what I mean? And I was like,
What was
ew.
she doing? She was like teasing him and like, yeah, right.
And I was like, at that point, I, you know, you realize how much you don't have in common with people when something happens and when you stop drinking with them. And I was
Mm.
like, our moral compasses are way the fuck off. And so I'm good on it. And they've tried to like reach out even now. This was like 10 years ago, but I can't. And so even family members who just they don't they I think one of my cousins called Roxy a rat. And that was like the last time she's been over. And she was like one of my favorite cousins. But I'm like, no, like everything in my family is an extension of me and my heart. So don't do that because now you're not invited. If you're scared, that's one thing. Okay. But if
Yeah.
you're mean, you gotta go. And
Yeah.
so I kind of like lost friends, but gained friends having dogs in my life, especially Roxy. And yeah, when we brought her to New York, it just felt like family. It just felt like I had my little family.
Yeah. They like create, like you have your unit, even
Yeah.
before you have kids or whatever. They're part of your unit. It's like you said, they're like extensions of us. I feel the exact same way. Like
Yeah.
they're our loved ones.
Yeah.
Like that, they are our loved ones. And we're protective of them. They're our family members. We do anything for them. It's like you said, you're like running out in your shoes and something happened. That's so traumatic.
Yeah.
Like to watch something like that. Like it is so intense.
Yeah.
That's so intense. I don't like how I don't like that. I don't like how they handled that. I'm really sorry. So you all moved to New York with her and she was your family, and obviously, yeah, they do. They like I mean, Linus, I don't know, he like gets me out of bed. Like he like morning, noon, and night, like my schedule is around him. I mean, I don't have kids, so like that is what, and he keeps me going when I'm like not in good shape. But when did Roxy I forget, I don't know what year it was. I think it was a few years ago that I saw you, and I think you had said she had passed like a couple years before that, or maybe a year before that. I can't remember. And yeah, I don't know.
It's interesting because my husband, like, he's Dutch and he grew up with dogs because his mom is like a breeder. And
Yeah.
but like loves dogs down where it's like she will have more pictures of her dog clan than her kids. And I'm like, okay. And so like he knows how to speak dog, and he definitely saw how invested I was in our relationship. And he's like, when a dog gets this old, you need to get a puppy. So the transition will be peaceful. And I was like, it's more work. I don't know, because Roxy was, I think, about 14 or 15, and we had her till 17. And so, I was reading about dogs, and I always wanted a big dog because it's always been like a childhood dream, and everybody had to walk me through it. And I was like, well, like once I wrapped my mind around like how big the poops were, because I had walked dogs, like German Shepherds before, I got big hands, let's go.
Yeah. It's so weird. It's always so weird. Like, yes.
Yeah, I was like, oh, now you want to taste a squirrel? Well, I got this in my hand. Oh my god, sure. I love
that weirdest feeling. And like we don't We like don't even think about it. It's
No,
just like, oh yeah, here I go with my claw. And
I got
I'm
the claw.
a French Mastiff. It was like 120 pounds for a long time. So yeah, it was, and I didn't think anything of it. But then occasionally someone would like point it out to me, like that's a big shit,
Yeah,
and I would be like,
I have a lab mastiff.
yeah.
So,
Oh my god, wait
but
now.
So we adopted Lola because I was reading up on dogs, and I'm like, black dogs go down first, especially big black dogs, because people are scared of them, and it's a whole movement. Black dogs matter, and people make fun of me, but it is a true. And so I'm like, big black dog, and we adopted her, and she's so sweet, so like lovely, so it's like a dog food commercial. And Roxy was so mad at us that we got another dog. She was like, "How could you?" Would like pee in her bed. Roxy stayed upstairs for like 2 months. We called her upstairs dog. She was, yes, it was insanity. And she would always like, and she's a 14-pound pug chihuahua, and she would like, bark and snap at Lola, and Lola just acted like it was playing or just like ran off and was scared. And so it was just really just sweet to see the relationship. And I was like, oh my God. And then like every time we went on a walk, Roxy would like run ahead of her to be like, I'm in charge. I'm like, you go, girl. And it was really fun, like getting matching Christmas sweaters for them. And, I'll send you pictures, sis. I have a whole.
I need all these pictures, by the way, for like.
Come on now.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Yeah. Well, when Roxy got older, and I didn't realize, and there was a lot of things I didn't realize. I thought that like dogs go to sleep and just don't wake up. I didn't know that they get sick, they get tumors, things are wrong with them. You try to save them, you have to make a decision. They get senile. Like Roxy would walk herself in a corner and not know how to get out. She couldn't walk but wanted to walk. She always had an appetite and then didn't, which was, so crazy. And then because she had like a chihuahua face and a pug body, she could never really like clean herself. And so she hated when Lola was around her. But towards the end, like Lola would clean her and just lick her all over her body. And Roxy enjoyed it so much. And I had to take video because I was like, oh my God, this is like the dog version of The Notebook. I was like, unwell. I know.
Wait, Lola would go and like clean Roxy's body?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't know that I've ever, like, I get their instinct to do it. I don't think I've ever, that's the sweetest thing I've ever heard. I've never heard that before. That's beautiful.
No, like,
wow.
I have to think that like Roxy was some sort of like curmudgeon-y auntie or grandma figure for Lola, because when we had to make a decision about what we were going to do with Roxy, the vet was like, bring her in and, it'll be peaceful. And my husband and I just had a pit in our stomach for a lot of reasons, but also like Roxy hated the vet.
Yeah.
And the vet was like, well, we can come to your house for a little extra money. And so we got her favorite blanket, and it was just so hard. Like the kids were babies, and the nanny took them out, and my friend that was like Roxy's godmama came over and like held our hand through it. And what really, really fucked me up was when we wrapped her in her favorite blanket and put her in her favorite bag, and they took her to cremate her. And then Lola started to freak out. And then she was chasing the bag. And I was like, I had no idea this would be so tough. I don't think it's fair that we get to have these like very short relationships, like this time with them, and it's like, if just even the physical part of having her literally by me all the time, like I've heard like felt like phantom Roxy pitter patter on the floor, or like sort of like when your phone's not by you. And oh my God, now my mom's texting my husband. It's like too much.
Oh my God. I want to say it, but I also want you to keep talking.
Yeah, it was I've never seen my husband cry that much. Like I was a mess because she was my child. And then my friend gave me a book to read to the kids, and it was like All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you read this book, but it completely,
Story, yeah.
yeah, completely fucked me up because I didn't know till I was reading it that all the dogs go to heaven to play with children that have gone to heaven. And I'm like,
Yeah.
why didn't you warn me, bitch? Like I was like,
Yeah.
you just
Yeah.
had to pick me up off the floor. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I never knew the love. I never knew. And I was like, I'm 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 changed forever. And honestly, like when I'm in a scene and I have to be emotional, it's like definitely not like the 5 miscarriages I've had. It is Roxy. If I have to if I have to go there, I'm like, it's my Roxy.
I get totally relate, and I'm like, that moment is always, I feel like when you have other dogs that witness another dog passing, it's a really interesting animal-y thing almost that happens, just like it does with us, but like they can sense the heartbeat, they can sense like all that, and then when it's not there, and like I don't know. So, and that is like that's also on top of like all that pain, it's like so hard to witness their, their
Yeah.
pain.
Yeah.
um as well. But like, God, just listening to you tell that story, I was just thinking about that. It's so hard. And I had this conversation with somebody the other day too. And it's like, and then we go back in because the love is so good. I feel like I'm a better person. I feel like,
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
let's talk to her. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
And
Um,
it was her. And it was her.
Oh my god. They something's going down. Yeah. No, I mean they're that's like it's important. It sounds important. Um I God, Michelle, that's so hard. It's also so hard um
Oh my God.
when you have to make that decision. I always say that's like the hardest thing. Like I started to have conversations with my dogs where when I like was reaching that point where I would be like, I can't play this role of knowing when it's right for you to go. I mean, obviously if you go, you go, but like, and so I'll say things like, what's your favorite thing? Okay, eating. The day you don't eat is the day I know, like, or whatever. Cause otherwise we're in this like weird position of like playing God or something to like, no,
I hate it.
hate it. Um,
Hate
and
it.
then we're like, the grief is insane because like that love is so pure and like it's so. I mean, I'm calling this podcast unconditional for a reason. It is this like it's such an exchange of I don't. I mean, I it's hard to put that into like words, but I
Yeah.
had so many people say to me after like Peanut passed, Peanut because it was so sudden. I think there was also this like I had lost dogs before, but and then people were saying to me like it's so hard because the grief is so big because the love is so big, which I
Yeah.
know we all know, but it's still so hard. So Lola, so do you still have Lola?
We still have Lola.
Okay.
Lola is approaching 8, and we adopted Whitney Houston. Um,
Oh wait, hold please. Lola and
and Whitney, yeah,
Whitney.
we adopted Whitney a couple of years ago, who is I think she's like black lab pit greyhound. She's a mutt just like me. LOL, my dogs are like me, mutt and graying, and they like the dog food. Um,
And gorgeous.
yeah, but what's been so great about it? I mean, it's just like watching my kids love them down, like
Oh,
love them down, and I would like pick the kids up from school with Whitney and Lola for lunch.
oh.
And they're like so happy and proud. They're like, "Look, everyone, it's our dogs. I want to hold them." And then the kids are like, "Are they friendly?" As they're like shoving their hands in their mouth. I'm like, "Very."
Thank God.
And like,
Uh,
yeah, and I just even see the way they move through the world, like even at a zoo or with other dogs, and They don't have fear, they have love. And I grew up with fear, and that's what kind of what my parents instilled in me, like, which, obviously they did the best they can with what they were given, and they're from the Caribbean. And so, like, pets were just sort of like things, animals to essentially like be security, or like just in the street running around or something or whatever, just peripheral things, and it's so different now that we can have this conversation, because it was always like, that's a no. Like the way, your parents would say, don't have sex until you're married, is like what my parents told me about pets. Like, when it's your own house, you do your own thing, which was so confusing because it was my own house and I tried to do my own thing. My mom was just like, how could you? But then
Right.
she like experienced the love from Roxy, and she was scared of Lola and Whitney. And now I'm like, who's the roasted chicken for? And she's like, them, get out of here. Like,
Isn't that crazy? Like this thing that you're so afraid of because you don't know about it. That's it. Like you could, I mean, look at the whole world. Like, I mean, honestly, it's
parallel
like
for everything. Like
for everything. Right. And then like in that situation now she's like making them roast chicken, not for you, for the dogs.
for the dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, literally, I'm on the phone with her and she's with the dogs right now. She's like, hold on, what, Lola? Like, well, put me on hold to talk to Lola, which I love. But, before I had to, every time Lola was in the room, she's like, come get her. You know what I mean? It was that. And I was like, Mom, you are exhausting. She's not doing. And then one day I just didn't have the time to follow her wherever Lola was going or not going. And then they just bonded. Like Lola just
Wow.
put her paw or her head on her. And my mom was like, she really likes me. And I'm like, yeah, she's telling you to calm down.
Yeah. Yeah. She's also
Girl.
being like, I'm okay. Like you can love me. Like you can,
Yes.
yeah, like I'm
You
safe.
can do this.
And also like, if you just love me, like, trust me, it's going to be so good.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the gentle giant. And it's so weird how they know. Like Lola is so gentle with kids and older people.
Wow.
And when somebody, like let's say our age comes along and has a ball, she's like, let's go, let's play. And so it's really interesting watching the cycle, because Lola is getting older and Whitney keeps her young. And
What kind of a dog is Whitney? You said a little black.
lab pit,
Okay.
greyhound.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on.
I love that mix. Why Whitney Houston?
The name?
Yeah, I mean, not why, but like when you were like, because obviously, but like, was that her name at the shelter, or anything, or I'm not shelter, the rescue?
Yeah, no, there was no name, or maybe there was a name, but I don't remember. Lola is for Lola Falana, just a beautiful Black woman that's been misunderstood, and Whitney Houston because just a badass, bitch that has a lot of love to give.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I love that. Those are
Yeah.
such good names. Such good names. That's so good. I love hearing these stories too about like the kids, because I feel like the dogs are such, because they're readers of energy. They can also transform. Like that's another reason I'm doing this podcast. A lot of people I'm obviously interviewing, people I love and people who but like also experts as well in these sort of fields of healing. There's a lot of like studying going on, like animals going into schools after, shootings or just tragic events, like changing and healing. I was just reading a story the other day about a girl who, she was like 8 or 9 and had witnessed one of these just horrific school shootings. And the only thing that can keep her like calm through her day and keep her, kind of comfortable is to have her dog with her at all times. And it was one of these therapy, like comfort dogs that came in after, and then they ended up adopting the dog so it could stay with her. But they like
good.
I mean, there's so many ways that I feel like they transform. We're talking about obviously pets and our like lives and our, but like it goes so far beyond. It's like really something. Anyway, I hope to tell as many of those stories too as possible, just because I feel
Yeah,
like,
especially if you have anxiety, and I feel like this is why, like, I'm glad LA is very dog friendly, because LA is a tough place to live if you are in the business and you're like sort of putting all your eggs in that basket and giving it your all and don't have like a hobby that you love. Like, thank God for your dog, because you're going to meet other people, you're going to take care of something which also is healing other than
yeah,
yourself, and then also these dogs are like, I call them my furry crystals. Like, they're just like a crystal. Like, I instantly feel better. It doesn't matter what audition or comment or whatever has happened. I'm like, I feel better. It's not about me. The world is bigger. How are you? Thank you for making me feel better. They're like little crystals. And so that's, I I can't stress enough. Like, if you're thinking about having a dog, like getting a dog, like foster one first and
yeah,
see how you feel. I mean, I don't, when people are like, I want to foster a puppy, I'm like, okay, you've never even met a puppy. Like, first of all, like,
yeah. The
there's
puppy world is a thing. It's a
a
thing.
whole other kit and caboodle. I'm just like, there's all these older dogs that like need love, and all they want to do is like sit around and eat chicken and sit on your lap. So I'm like, maybe do that, and
It's true though. That's actually true. It's like the older dogs or the dogs. They thought he was like 2 when I got him. Even that, like you just like the puppy world, fostering puppies is it's a whole thing, but like, worth it, I guess, if you want to give it a go. Michelle, I have to, can I ask you what your dog voice is?
my dog, what?
Voice. Do you have a dog voice for the doggies? Do you like
Oh
talk to them in a
my
certain
God. I feel naked.
so that's why I'm like, are you comfortable? Because I usually start the podcast like when I do my intro, I'll say like, this is Michelle Buteau, and this is her dog voice.
Oh my God. Why didn't you warn me about that?
Okay, I did think about that. I was like, oh my God, I should warn it. So we can cut that too. But if you're not comfortable, it's totally okay. But I was
Of
like,
course I'm
I gotta ask
comfortable.
if you'll do it. I
Oh my
gotta
God, of
ask.
course. I've like thrown up on camera.
I'll
Um,
so I'm like, I'm Lola, and I'm like walking over and I'm like, hey mom.
oh my God, here we go. My husband's gonna be like, who is she? What is she? Okay. Um, okay, it's hi big girl. Hi big girl. Are you my Lola? Lola, 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 Lola. It's my big girl. Today is gonna be a great day. We get another day. We get another day with each other. Yes. Is that an eye booger? I'm going in for your ears. Ooh. It's like every morning. And then she gets a little 5% Greek yogurt, some blueberries.
Oh, stop it right
And I
now.
wipe her down with a little eucalyptus situation. Wipe her down. Get them.
Oh, I love it. Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's so sweet. You should voice a character for sure on like the
No,
show.
absolutely.
No, no, she's not doing that. Okay, I have like all other questions. I do these like rapid fire questions too, where I'm like, well, if you want, if they had occupations in the world, what do you think Lola and Whitney's occupations would be?
Oh my God.
I should have given you time to think about it before. Oh my God.
I know. So Lola's occupation, because she's a big girl, and then people assume that she's aggressive, but she's not. She's very kind and gentle. All like at every, even getting a treat, she's just like, it's so gentle. Like, my uncle eats way more aggressive than she does. um she would be an older nurse. She'd be a bigger girl, a
Oh,
nurse, but she would know how to like
oh.
we bob and weave through like a very small hospital to like kind of take care of people, and just like slip in the needle and slip it out, and just like she
Oh,
I
I
think,
know exactly that vibe. I know
you
exactly
know
what
what
you're
I
talking
mean?
about, and I love that. Yeah, that's so
Yeah. And I think Whitney, her energy is so, and even though Whitney's like technically not a puppy anymore, she's like a forever young teenager. She's just got like Balanced amount of energy. She wants everyone to like love her and like her. And she's like, she feels like a overly enthusiastic MAC makeup counter person. Like, this color is great on you. This color is great. Oh my God, this color, this is your color. Like that.
Mac counter. Oh my God. That is like, we all know what that, who
Yeah.
that is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet, Whitney. She just wants people to feel good.
She
And
does.
like, I
Yeah.
love that. That's
Yeah.
so sweet. Oh my God. Michelle,
yes.
hilarious. Those are the best occupations I have heard of anyone I've talked to.
Yeah, I was like, what a great question. Let me think. Who are these ladies? I love it.
And another one I like to ask people is like, what if they were celebrities? Like if you had to make them like celebrities, but they're like public figure, like so they already are. But I'm also like, if you like in the world right now, who would like be their whatever, which you don't even have to answer, but that's
I mean, I think Lola is definitely Octavia Spencer in Hidden Figures.
Oh yes,
You know what I
based on what you described. Yes. Oh
Yeah,
my God,
like,
perfect. Oh my God, Lola.
that's
Lola.
so funny. And I think like
Serious. It's so sweet. And also like another, yeah, okay, go on.
I think Whitney is like I feel like she might just be like Anne Hathaway in every movie. Do you know what I mean? Just like what like whether it's Ocean's 11 or whatever it is, it's like I got the answer. Yeah. Just like lighting up a room.
Yeah. Okay. That's really good too. I got the answer. She always has the answer.
She always has the answer.
She has the answer to everything.
Yeah.
Everything in every movie.
Have the answer. She's like, I don't have the answer.
A movie will start and they'll be like, oh, we don't know the answer. And it's like, but Anne Hathaway's in it. So just ask her.
Ask her.
Oh my God, hilarious. Oh my God. Oh my God, Michelle, that is so funny. That's so good. And I don't know. I have any other stories or any other, another thing I want to say, sports, like what is like the most insane thing they do or have done, like when they play? Like have they embarrassed you in public or done anything that's like, I mean, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Like, because they're just like lovely Tasmanian devils. So I'm like, whoa. So when they're playing in the backyard and little kids are there, little kids don't know and they'll like go in the line of fire. I'm like, oh my God, why are the kids what? You know what I mean? Like they're just like wondering why kids and dogs are like playing and how they can do it. And if you don't know dog or speak dog or know how they move, you're gonna like, yeah. So we have a beach in our backyard, which is really fun.
What? I'm sorry, what?
We have a beach in our a beach in our backyard.
Water?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh wait, I think I did know that actually. Oh my God, how fun.
It's so fun. And Lola actually learned how to swim there. I mean, she's half lab, so her like paws are webbed and she was like scared of puddles. I'm like, girl. But it was so funny, like watching my husband teach again another Black woman how to swim. And then she like got it. And it's like so fun to like see her like really live her best life. And so when
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say when they're in the water, it's like forget it. They are just having fun like an 80s like summer camp movie. I'm like, look at these girls go. Yeah.
Michelle, I love that. I love that. Yeah. I love all of these stories. And Lola, did Lola come? Did you tell me she was at a rescue or a shelter?
Yeah, she was found. Her and her litter were found in a box in a parking lot in Atlanta, and then shipped to a place in Jersey. And it kind of, I think that she's really scared of cars because of that. Yeah. And we got her around 4th of July. I think we got her like July 2nd or July 3rd. And so 4th of July, she was like, Oh, am I in a war zone?
Yeah.
So then we got like one of those weighted blankets.
Thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for thunder. But then every time she saw it, she's like, "Oh no, Armageddon's coming." I'm like, "Okay, okay, never mind." And then we tried CBD, and then I was like, "Wait a minute, is she
Yeah.
tripping? What's happening?" But then I
Yeah.
was like, "I'll take it. Uh, don't let it waste." Like I also have anxiety.
I'm the same. Sometimes I look at it, I'm like, it's the same thing, right? Like it's the same
It just
thing.
doesn't taste as good, but it's fine once you put like a little honey in your tea. I think it's fine.
I love it. I love it. And was Whitney also at a shelter or God, that's awful. Who leaves puppies on a
Uh,
street? I can't
I
anyway.
know. I
Yeah.
know. It's really
Uh
gross. Like people have stopped us when we were walking Lola and they're like, how old is he or something? Like they just want to breed her. And I'm like, and I'm such and they're just like pimps or something. I'm like, get away from my girl.
they're
Get away. She's not for sale. I turn into like the color purple. I'm like, get away from her. It's like too much. Get away. Yeah.
was I love it is weird though, right? Like the breed
Very
thing.
weird. Take that somewhere else, guy. You're gross.
It's creepy AF.
Yeah.
Yeah. And was Whitney also, was she at a shelter or at a
She was.
rescue? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We rescued her too. Yeah.
How do we know? I always try to tell people when they're like, I'm trying to find a dog. I'm like, they will find you. Like you
Yeah.
can go to the shelter or whatever. You're gonna lock eyes and you're gonna be like, that's my dog. Like
Yeah.
they pick you. Like you mentioned this like about Roxy too. Like you just know.
Yeah.
I,
And that's
yeah.
what Roxy's owner said to me. She said she went to the shelter to go find a dog and she like just looked over like a little cute little pit of dogs. And Roxy's the only one that like kind of wobbled up to her and was like, I'll go with you. And she's like,
Yeah.
let's go, girl.
I love that.
You nice man.
I love all of these stories so much. I feel like they're literally the great like I mean, when you experience that like love from your dog, I feel
Yeah.
like they're like it's like this great unifier too, like in a lot of ways, or what equalizer. Like everybody can really. I feel like when I talk to people about pets, everybody suddenly like turns into
Yeah, a human being. So you
yeah,
asked me before like how it changed me and shaped
yeah.
me. It's like in so many ways. I mean, like how people show up for you if someone's like needing
Mm.
help. That's I really learned a lot for better or for worse about my friends. Um also,
Wow.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Also, how people who were raised and how they think it's like okay to raise and work, take care of another living thing. Sometimes I'm like, that's amazing, and other times I'm like, I don't even know how this is so Grey Gardens and so toxic. I don't know how this is even a thing.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
like it has it feels like there's another layer to my life that I really appreciate because there's I feel like I could talk to anybody about anything now.
What do you like when oh, go ahead. Keep going.
Well, like once I got a boyfriend, I was like talking to people in relationships. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Then when I got engaged, I'm like, what a weird purgatory of just like, are we gonna do it or not? We're just gonna spend more money. You know what I mean? And then like when people were just married, we're just like, I can't believe we did that, right? We should have just kept the money. And then it's just like, and then like being with a European person is like, it's just like more talk about. And then like I have a dog, and then when people have pets, and we like talk about that. And then like having kids, it's like you talk to people with kids, and then twins, and so it just feels like you're
Mm.
like I feel layered and more evolved and like also inspired, I really appreciate people who are like, I don't want children, but I do want pets. And I'm like, yeah.
Mm.
Like I love that for you too. And there's like a space. There's like a beautiful space for those people and they should be acknowledged because they're like still maternal and like useful, you know, despite whatever society says. And so I feel like that is also like Joy's act of resistance in that capacity as well. And like even
Thank you.
being,
Yeah.
you know, invited to dog weddings and birthdays. I'm like, this is dope. We should be celebrating everybody. And I was so inspired by it that I put a dog wedding in season 1 of my show, Survival of the Thickest. And these dogs came to, they did not cut, they were not playing in anyone's faces. They were better than most actors. And
Yeah. Also,
we got to use the background of like what people seem to like feel like is like hilarious is like such a great jump off to what I was trying to say in my show is that, you know, we should be able to find love and we should be worthy of love. And it was 2 female dogs. And so I'm also saying this is a high profile lesbian dog wedding. That was a thing. And it's just like love no matter what. And so sometimes you could take this thing, just like loving dogs, and say something bigger because, you know, you have the platform and like the license to. And so, yeah, Michelle.
I love that. And I love that about you. I love that about you so much.
Oh my God, you came to set one day.
I did. I saw your show and I've got to say, I literally was like, I was so moved. Michelle, you are so good. You are so good. You feel like on like such a deep level. And I remember sitting in that room and like watching because I hadn't seen like I hadn't seen the show yet, and I had seen your movie actually. I had seen you, but I was like, I was so moved. It was that scene in the hospital room. Do you remember? And she was like, I was like, anyway, the show is so good, but that's so you. Like, I feel like you have such a big heart, and I feel like you are always looking for ways to, through comedy or through the story, like it takes a very, like empathetic and a huge heart, and also a very, very smart and intelligent person to know how to steer that conversation. And you are like, I told you, I was like, I loved your special, but I was also very moved by it. And the fact that like you not only had a dog wedding, but it was like 2 female dogs, and like you were, and like everybody, like, what? Who's doing that?
No, like, I think more people need to be talking about it. Like, come on.
You're doing it, but I'm saying like, yes. Anyway, and it's important and it's special. And I'm like, and also again, pure love. Like, these creatures are just like pure love. And what a way to also like tell stories. It's like what I'm also hoping in just like having this conversation with you and this like podcast, whatever, is like focusing on that. I was telling people about it, you know, they're like, oh, cute, a pet podcast. I'm like, no, we're not like talking about just like, oh, these pet tricks or like, you know, whatever. It's like, no. We're talking about the relationship. It is a relationship, and it's real and it's deep. And so that's it. Yeah.
And respect, and like respect. If you don't understand it, you still have to respect it. Like, come on now. And that goes with every and any. Like, you don't understand what a non-binary person is or is going through. Right. Fine, but like, they're still human beings. Hello. And I remember, and you can like cut this out if you'd like.
No,
because it's your show. But I remember, you know, a friend of mine was like, how do I get in touch with Maggie? How do I show her that like, you know, I love her, I'm thinking about her? And I'm like,
oh, gotcha.
Yeah, she's a dog mama. I'm like, you love her, you love that dog.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm that dog something nice. She got everything she needs.
Do you know what? I mean, I don't know how long ago that was, like that conversation, probably years now, but like, you know, that he was not a dog person. At all. In fact, it was like, I remember, and like, that's actually he's a perfect example of somebody that like, when Peanut died, we weren't together. But I remember like it because of the bond they developed when we were together. And it wasn't, and I appreciate you like saying that, because like, it wasn't like he was like, he kind of accepted that I had this dog. And then over time, she would just like like she was making moves on him, and he was like, and he would be like, he would just come over and lose his mind over her. And there were days that he would just like talk about it, and I saw it happen. She transformed him, and then also watch you be like, no, I'm talking about somebody else. No, I'm kidding. They like literally. So we had split, and I remember like he had reached out a few times about like he had mentioned Peanut, or and he was the hardest phone call I had to make, and we weren't even together. We hadn't even talked in a while, but I knew like it wasn't just something he did to be like, I need to like it was like a deep love, and I know it still like affects him in a big way, but that was the hardest call I had to make. And that's another great example of like what we talk about, of like the thing you fear or the thing you just don't know, like you just don't know about it. And but why don't maybe be curious instead of
open.
Be open instead of right. So anyway, and I love that that's so funny. He loved that dog, man. He loved her so much. That was really hard. Telling him was really hard. Anyway, yeah.
Wild.
But that like they can also be little vessels for that too. They're vessels for like healing and vessels for like love, and I don't know. I just could talk dogs. I could talk all day about this with you, because like also Michelle, I was like, she gets it. Like I just knew, I don't even know you that well. I just have like this like massive respect for you, and I love like the times we've hung out, and like you have such a big heart, and I remembered us having this conversation, and I just like from even the day, and I remember I reached out because I was like, I saw that person's brother, and I was like, I feel weird. I would love to talk to her, and I would love to have her on the podcast and like talk topic with her. And I was like, what do you think? Like, should I?
Oh, come on.
I was like, well, and he can be like, I don't know. This could be tricky. And then am I out of line? Because like, but I kept telling him, I was like, I really want to talk to her. And I also like, I just think it's important. And like what you have to say is so important. So anyway, I just have a mad respect for you, but I also know you're such a like animal dog lover. And I just love the way you get it all. Anyway, Michelle, you're just the greatest. Like you are.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to tell my kids that, because they were not feeling me this morning. I was just like, Despacito with leave-in conditioner, and I made you salmon. Y'all need to get I'm bored. What are you doing?
Oh my God, I love it. Thank you for taking the time to do this and to be so open about it, and like to share, and all of that, and also making the time for me. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing. Your voice is important, and it matters, especially when people are like, podcasts, what's the point? It's like, there are silver points, and sometimes people find it when they really, really need it. So thank you for your service.
Oh, thanks, Michelle. I appreciate that. All right. Well, Michelle, anything else you want to say or add or anything?
Season 2 of Survival of the Thickest comes out March 27th. You guys can also stream my comedy special, my latest comedy special, A Beautiful Mind, at Radio City Music Hall.
You're the best. And I appreciate you so much. I really do. And I will hopefully see you very soon. Thank you all so much for listening to this episode of Unconditional. Thank you, Michelle, so much for being here, for sharing, for being so open. You're just an incredible person. I love you so much. And please check out her show, Survival of the Thickest. It is out March 27th. The second season is out March 27th. So go binge the first if you haven't. It's so good. It's so funny. It's so heartfelt. It's so real. It's beautiful. And she's just doing things her way, and it's so special, and I love it. And so that, and then also A Beautiful Mind is her Netflix special. It is streaming. You can stream it right now. Her comedy special, also so beautiful and beautiful. Stay tuned. Next week, we have another very special guest. How can I tease this guest? He's a wild jackass of a guest. That's probably too much. But anyway, thank you all for listening. See you next week.